Hey everybody, what is up? I am about to start a podcast with a guest that I'm really excited about welcoming in. If you don't know me, my name is Patrick, and I am a content creator who has a full-time job, a busy schedule, a family, kids, a marriage. And on the days and times and hours that I am not doing all those other things, I'm creating content. And I live and create to help other people in similar situation like me to create as well. You don't have to be a full-time content creator to create content. You can just get out there and do it within your regular life. And I have scheduled some time today to record a podcast with someone that I hope is going to be a new friend. A guy named Shama, who is on Instagram, does a lot of hilarious content. Very much of it, actually almost all of it, is church related. He's a musician. And just a fun guy to watch create, and I think it's going to be a really fun creation as well. So let's talk about how I am actually creating this podcast, what I'm doing, what kind of gear I'm using, because I think that would be really helpful to you. Number one, I have my branded ice coffee cup from my job. Let's just, hold on. I mean, if you don't have the caffeine, can you even start? And just so you know, I'm using an app to stream right now. It's the same app I use for podcasting. That's called Ecamm Live. The reason why I use Ecamm Live, it allows me to bring guests in and have that like split screen look. It allows me at the end of my podcast recording to have an isolated audio file that's just my audio, just the guest's audio, or however many guests I have on the podcast, and then an isolated video file of me, an isolated video file of my guest, and an isolated video file of the program. However I take those video and audio, however I configure it live, it also records that as well. So when I'm recording the podcast, I record split screen, me on the left or on the right, and the podcast guest on the other side, and then I cut in post using Final Cut Pro. I cut between that split screen view, just me, just the guest, and I mix all the audio down to sound really, really crispy. And that looks like this. Let me flip over to this camera here so you can see how all this is set up. So as you can see, I'm at my desk here. I am looking at my, oh, hold on a sec. I've got to change this. This is not right. This. Please work. Allow. Oh no. No, that's not what I wanted. I am failing massively. Please forgive me. That didn't work at all. I wanted to show you my setup here, and I thought the iPhone was working absolutely fine. Let me see here if I can I switch over here? No, I cannot. Is it this? No, I cannot. Oh my goodness, I am failing massively. This is like that. Well, you know what, guys? Oh, now this camera's wrong. Oh my gosh, everything is not working. I'm going to immediately delete this live stream, figure out how to do this a little bit better later on, unless... You know, what if I can just do this? Is this it? Guys, I figured it out. That was so embarrassing. Oh my gosh, let me just show you really quickly. Hey, listen, we can fail in front of everybody here. It is totally allowed. Let me show you what I'm working with here by clicking back over to this camera. So number one, I've got my M1 MacBook Pro here. And right in front of me, I have my Samsung Q9U. This microphone sounds incredible. It also has a really cool, like, classic look to it. So it looks like I'm podcasting. It looks like I'm a radio host when I use this microphone. But this is not my only source of audio. On my camera, I have the Rode Video Mic Go 2. This is going to be a microphone that's strictly a backup. But my best backup is right above me. This is a Sennheiser microphone. Really nice shotgun microphone. This is the most expensive of the bunch. I rarely use it. This is a backup. I use this for a lot of videos, but I'm really liking the sound of the Q9U for podcasting recently. You'll also notice that on my computer here, so this is Ecamm Live. This is what we're looking at here. These are all my cameras. See me there filming, right? And then I have over here my notes. These are the questions. Like, I just use these as jumping off questions. The questions that this is the questions that I will send whoever I'm interviewing. And they don't have to be the questions I stick to the entire time. These are simply questions that I use as jumping off points. It might be what I use. And I send these ahead of time to the person I'm interviewing because it's a level of professionalism. It's a professional courtesy to say, hey, here's kind of the direction I want to go. Sometimes they don't even read the questions. Sometimes they will pick through the questions and say, actually, I would rather not talk about this. That's happened to me twice. So I'm really thankful that I send these ahead of time. If you can get anything down in a Google Doc or on a note or in a text even and just say, hey, here's some of the things I'm thinking through, it allows your interviewee to prepare a bit. Now, all of these mics, all of these microphones, this one here, not all of them, this is plugged directly into the camera, but this Q9U here, this Sennheiser here, all going right into this Zoom L8, channel 1, channel 2. And it's recording separately from Ecamm Live. So I'm going to take the audio that I record from this, because there's an SD card right in the back, and I am going to pair that up with my video. Now, my computer has this little guy plugged into it. This is the CalDigit, I think it's the TS3. This is a pretty expensive, $200 or $300 hub that my camera is plugged into this USB card here, HDMI right into there, USB right into here. The reason why I do that, I'm using the Sony ZV-E10 here. If I wanted to, I could stream directly from the USB-C port of the Sony ZV-E10, but I don't do that, and here's why. When I plug my Sony ZV-E10 directly into my computer using USB-C and use it for streaming, you can't record with it. So I like to have a video backup. And what I do is I take the HDMI port of the Sony ZV-E10, plug it into this capture card here, this USB capture card, which plugs right into my TS3 made by CalDigit. And that means I can record with this camera. Ecamm Live is recording. And that way I've got all my bases covered just in case. Now, a lot of people are filming with Zoom. A lot of people are filming with Riverside. I'm using Ecamm Live. The reason why is because I think almost anything will perform better than Zoom. But I think it's better than StreamYard. I think it's better than Riverside. Ecamm Live does a lot. I don't have time to get into it right now. But it's also not free. It is a service that you pay for. It's a couple $100 a year. But if you really do the math, you're paying, $20 a month, something like that. If you're doing more than a couple of podcasts, I mean, it gives you about 300 hours of recording available to you with their Pro plan or whatever, and that really works for me. So that's why I'm using Ecamm Live. But don't record video podcasts or podcasts with Zoom. It's terrible. Sounds bad. It's hard to work with. Not ideal. And then finally, just so you guys know, I also have some lighting going on here. This is a Dasny key light right here. It's a little over $100. And then behind me, I have a GVM LED light. Now, why do I have a light here? Well, obviously I want to light my subject. Did this get turned down or turned up? I think it did. I am going to have to fix that. That's okay. That's okay. It's a little too bright. But the reason why I have a light behind me is because you see how it kind of fills out the space back here? If I turned off this light and I just had the light on that was in front of me, this is what it would look like. Kind of a bland background, right? But with something like this, I have the ability to spread some light out onto my background and really give it some character. Now, I want to just really quickly check and make sure nobody is giving any comments or anything like that. Oh my gosh, Gabe, of course, is in here. Crispy, you did it. My goodness, you guys are the best. My brother just sent me a super chat. Thanks so much, man. You are the best. I actually am getting on a plane very soon to go visit with, oh, that was a very southern saying, to go visit with my brother and my dad, helping my dad move. Ben, can't wait to see you. That was so kind of you. Love you, buddy. And then listen, my buddy Gabe, I would not be where I am when it comes to tech and recording and things like that without my buddy Gabe. He has been my tech guru for years and years and years. And here are his comments. Let's see what he has to say. Crispy, you did it. And then my brother, Woot. And then my brother obviously gave me that very, very kind gift. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. So here's my live streaming setup. There's more to it. There's some like adapters and things like that. But this is kind of the basics. Oh, one other thing I want to share with you that I absolutely love. This dumb little product right here. A lot of times in front of this camera, I'll actually put a teleprompter. It's a teleprompter that mounts right in front of the camera so that I'm looking straight into the camera through the teleprompter. And it has the questions I want to ask or the things I want to say scrolling. How do I make the teleprompter scroll? This little Bluetooth guy right here. You can obviously not see it. The buttons aren't super quiet if I press them loudly or press them hard, but if I press them quietly, even while I'm talking or something, I think you can still hear it a little bit, but everyone's none the wiser, right? And it just kind of scrolls through the questions right in front of me using an iPad teleprompter, which I've talked about. I actually did a whole video about it. So that's something that I really, really love. So this little, this AirTurn BT500S-2. Yeah, you know, because that name makes tons of sense, right? So I have my teleprompter in front of me, I have my lighting, I have it all going through this cow digit here, I have my Zoom L8, and that's how I record podcasts. And it's been something that's been a real joy of mine to be able to connect with people. I've been just like hopping into people's DMs and saying like, hey, listen, I would love to record an interview with you about leading worship, which I do full time, or content creation or whatever. And I'm actually really excited. Coming up, I'm going to record a podcast with my son, Declan, because he's gone from like, 13,000 subscribers on YouTube because he posts tons of shorts and they're really like trendy, like trending shorts. Very exciting stuff for him. I'm excited for him. It's been fun to watch his journey. So I'm excited to record a podcast about content creation with him. And he would be in the room with me, but when I'm recording remote and doing a video podcast like this is how I do it. So if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments, and everything, or actually a lot of the things I talked about are actually linked down in the comments. So thanks for joining me. I'm going to go record this podcast in about 10 minutes, and I hope you watch it. Bye. Have a good one.